Welcome back to Money and Music. Hip-hop dominates streaming platforms, charts, and culture. But do you know who actually owns the songs? Every time you press play on a Drake track or a Kendrick Lamar verse, someone is collecting publishing royalties. And most of the time, it's not the artist. Today, we're breaking down the top 10 publishers in hip-hop, from the major players to the surprising independents that now control thousands of rap hits. Let's get into it. First, let's quickly break down what music publishing is. In simple terms, music publishing is the business of managing and collecting royalties for the written side of music. The composition that included lyrics, melody, beat structure, and arrangements. Every time a song is streamed, played on the radio, used in a film, or performed live, publishing royalties are generated. Now, hip-hop is unique. The genre relies heavily on producers, samples, co-writers, and beat makers. It's not uncommon to see 6 to 10 people sharing writing credit on one rap song. That means publishing splits get complicated fast. But that's also why the publishing side of rap is extremely lucrative. According to Data Intello, the global hip-hop publishing market was worth about $1.5 billion in 2024, and it is projected to more than double to $3.5 billion by 2033. So let's get into who actually controls this money. At number 1, no surprise here, Universal Music Publishing Group, or UMPG. UMPG is the largest music publisher in the world by revenue and owns the publishing rights to millions of songs, including a massive portion of modern hip-hop. They collect royalties for artists like Drake, Kendrick Lamar, Cardi B, Travis Scott, and many more. Some of these deals are through label arrangements, others are through direct publishing contracts. Either way, UMPG touches more rap music than anyone else. In 2023, Universal's publishing division alone made over $2 billion, with a 23% global market share. That catalog of theirs includes more than 4.5 million songs, and many of those sit right at the top of the Billboard rap charts. If a hip-hop hit dropped in the last 10 years, odds are UMPG is getting a piece of it. I actually just released a video breaking down UMPG's entire catalog and history. That will be linked in the description. But here's where things get interesting. Coming in at number 2 is a name that might surprise you. Kobalt Music Group. Kobalt isn't a label. They don't even own most of their catalog. But they are the largest independent music publisher in the world, handling administration for over 600,000 songs. And a massive portion of their business comes from hip-hop producers, beat makers, and independent rappers. Why? Because Kobalt built its entire company around transparency and real-time data. Their online dashboard shows songwriters and producers exactly where their music is being played and how much they're earning. For beat-heavy genres like rap, this level of clarity is rare and valuable. Kobalt doesn't have the name recognition of Universal or Sony, but behind the scenes, they're collecting royalties for a huge chunk of the hip-hop landscape. They represent songwriters who produced for Travis Scott, Future, Lil Baby, and Megan Thee Stallion. In 2015, they reportedly controlled 17% of the most played songs on US radio, second only to Universal. At number 3, another surprise, Concord Music Publishing, particularly through its joint venture with Pulse Music Group. Pulse was an early mover in rap and urban songwriting, and Concord acquired a stake that gave them access to producers like Ty Dolla $ign, Rich the Kid, LP from Run the Jewels, and Oz, the Swiss producer behind hits for Drake, Travis Scott, and Future. Concord has also been aggressively acquiring catalogs, including Downtown Music's publishing arm and I'm a Gem. In total, Concord now controls over 800,000 works, and with their new stake in Latin and hip-hop-driven catalogs like Daddy Yankee's, Concord has quietly built one of the most valuable modern music catalogs, hip-hop included. So that's the top 3, Universal, Kobalt, and Concord. All different models, all massive reach. Let's round out the rest of the top 10. At number 4, Sony Music Publishing, formerly Sony, ATV. They hold key parts of Jay-Z's catalog, Eminem's early works, and rights via EMI and other acquisitions. They're massive, but their focus has leaned a bit more towards pop and legacy than rap in recent years. At number 5 is Reservoir Media. This indie publisher went public in 2021 and has steadily built a rap-heavy catalog, including Cardi B, 2 Chainz, and Migos. They've also secured major sync placements in film and TV using these works. At number 6, Primary Wave, who famously acquired 50% of the Notorious B.I.G.'s publishing catalog. That alone gives them recurring royalties from classics like Juicy and Hypnotize. Primary Wave has also partnered with estates and has been aggressive in acquiring legacy hip-hop rights. At number 7, Warner Chappell Music, the publishing arm of Warner Music Group. They've long had a presence in rap via signings and label partnerships, but their catalog isn't quite as top-heavy as Universal or Sony's when it comes to current hip-hop chart toppers. At number 8, BMG Rights Management. While not as dominant in the US, hip-hop BMG does control parts of Lil Wayne's early publishing via Young Money's early days, plus catalogs from artists signed internationally. Number 9, Downtown Music Publishing. Though technically now part of Concord, they deserve a mention for helping build Concord's hip-hop reach before the merger. Their indie-friendly model attracted rap producers and sync writers looking for flexibility. And finally, at number 10, producer-owned publishing collectives. These are harder to quantify, but incredibly important. We're talking about producers like Metro Boomin, Southside, or Hit Boy who have set up their own publishing entities to collect royalties directly. With more rap music being produced independently, this category is growing fast. So what does this all mean? First, publishing in hip-hop is big money and growing fast. With streaming dominating consumption, every play generates fractions of a cent in publishing revenue. It doesn't sound like much, but over time, and across millions of streams, it adds up. Second, ownership in hip-hop isn't always where you think it is. You might assume the artist owns the song, but often that's not true. Beats are co-owned. Samples split up publishing even more. Ghostwriters and co-writers get credits too. That's why Universal and Sony dominate. But it's also how Kobalt and Concord snuck into the top 3. And finally, this means opportunity. For investors, understanding who owns what in rap helps you follow the money. For artists, it means learning how to negotiate your splits, build your own publishing entities, or partner with transparent admin companies. The surprise here isn't that Universal is number 1. The surprise is that independent publishers and smart tech-driven companies are climbing the ranks in one of music's most competitive genres. So who surprised you the most? Kobalt, Concord, Primary Wave? Let me know in the comments. And if you want me to break down Warner Chappell next, or dig into one of these publisher catalogs in more detail, drop it below. If you made it this far, thank you for watching Money and Music. Have a great day.